Success thrives in silence not because it is secretive or mysterious, but because it requires time and space to grow. Success, like a seed, begins quietly beneath the surface. It doesn't announce itself to the world or demand attention or approval. Instead, it works steadily and silently until one day it rises tall and strong for all to see. Yet so many of us feel compelled to broadcast our plans, to tell the world what we're doing, where we're headed, and how we'll get there. Why is that? Perhaps it's a craving for recognition or validation. Or maybe it's the thrill of declaring, "Look at me, I'm on my way." But here's the catch. The more you talk about your plans, the less energy remains to actually execute them. It's a curious paradox, isn't it? Oversharing can drain the momentum you need to succeed. In my years of business and personal growth, I've witnessed this repeatedly. People with bold ideas and noble ambitions, ideas that could transform their lives, often talk themselves out of the very goals they set. How? By revealing their dreams too early, they expose them to the harsh winds of doubt, criticism, and distraction. Before long, the flame they once carried flickers and fades. So today, I want to share with you Napoleon Hill's philosophy. Keep your plans close, not from secrecy, but from wisdom. We'll explore how to develop a mindset that values action over words, focus over fanfare, and results over recognition. Because in the end, it's not what you say you'll do that counts. It's what you actually accomplish. Keeping your plans to yourself holds great power. Consider the delicate relationship between intention and action. Each time you share your intentions, your goals, your dreams with others, you release some of that energy, giving away a portion of the fire that fuels your drive. Often that fire is better kept contained, nurtured quietly within your mind rather than exposed prematurely. One reason is simple. When you announce your plans, you create an illusion of progress. You say, "I'm starting a new business," or "I'm going to lose 20 pounds." And those around you nod, smile, even applaud. That feels good. The validation is intoxicating. But here's the danger. Your mind may mistake that approval for achievement. You haven't yet done the work, but you've already savored a taste of reward. What happens next? The urgency to act wanes, the fire cools, and the dream that once burned brightly starts to feel as though it's already been accomplished in your mind. You settle into comfort, and the difficult work, the real grind to turn dreams into reality, is postponed. This is how dreams die in the cradle of good intentions. Some may argue that sharing plans builds accountability. Accountability does have its place, but only when shared with the right people at the right time. Not everyone who hears your vision will understand it. Some will question your motives or doubt your abilities. They may not voice their skepticism aloud, but it lingers like a shadow over your ambition. If you're not careful, that shadow seeps into your own thoughts. Suddenly, you doubt yourself. You wonder if maybe they're right, if your idea isn't as strong as you believed. I'm not saying you should never share your ideas. No, the key is to share selectively, thoughtfully, and only when the time is ripe. Protect your vision in its infancy like a gardener shields young plants from frost. Share your plans with those who will nurture them, not trample on them. Seek mentors or close friends who genuinely want to see you succeed. Even then, reveal only what's necessary. Don't let your ideas become a spectacle before they have a chance to flourish. Another factor to consider is the power of surprise. There is something uniquely impactful about doing the unexpected, letting your results speak louder than words. Imagine this. You've been quietly working on a project for months, perhaps years. You haven't said a word beyond your trusted circle. Then one day, you unveil a finished product, a completed goal, a dazzling achievement. The impact is far greater than if you had been talking about it all along, dropping hints and teasers. People marvel because it seemed to come from nowhere. It's a vivid reminder that action always outshines words. Years ago, I knew a young man eager to launch his business. Full of ideas and excitement, he couldn't stop telling everyone about his plans, how he'd succeed, how his life would transform. People listened, politely at first, but as months passed with no progress, skepticism grew. The more he talked, the less others believed in him, and eventually he stopped believing in himself. Contrast that with a man I knew from the Midwest, a farmer with a vision to expand his small family farm into a thriving enterprise. Instead of talking, he simply got to work. He read, studied successful farmers, quietly adopted new methods. He didn't announce his plans. He let his results speak. When harvest time came, his quality and quantity shocked everyone. Asked how he did it, he smiled and said, "By working when no one was watching." There is a lesson here. The less you talk, the more time and energy you have to act. The less you seek validation, the more confidence you cultivate internally. The less you prematurely reveal your plans, the more control you retain over your story. It's not about secrecy, it's about strategy. Your dreams deserve protection, and your actions will always speak louder than your words. How often have you shared a goal only to feel motivation slip away afterward? How often have others' opinions shifted your direction? These are vital questions because they reveal how much power we lose by speaking too soon. The good news? You can reclaim that power. Choose to focus on action, guard your dreams, and let your success speak for itself. The world is noisy, filled with opinions, distractions, unsolicited advice. Sharing your dreams too freely invites that noise in, opening doors to criticism, doubt, and even envy. These forces can derail even the best laid plans if you're not vigilant. Think about it. When you share your big idea with someone, how often do they respond with genuine enthusiasm and support? Sometimes they do, but more often people react with caution, skepticism, or even subtle discouragement. They might say, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" Or "That sounds risky," or "I knew someone who tried that and failed." These comments may seem harmless, but they plant seeds of doubt in your mind. And doubt is dangerous. It can grow fast and choke the roots of your ambition. But it's not only the doubters you must watch out for. There are also the envious, the ones who resent your ambition because it reminds them of what they haven't achieved. They may not say it outright, but their subtle negativity drains your energy just the same. All this noise pulls you away from your original vision, leaving you scattered and uncertain. That's why discretion is so powerful. When you keep your plans to yourself, you protect your focus. You create a quiet space where your ideas can grow free from outside interference. It's like building a greenhouse for your dreams, a place where they flourish in ideal conditions until strong enough to face the elements. It's important to start building momentum. Momentum is precious. It's the forward motion created by consistent, purposeful action toward your goals. Here's the key. Momentum thrives in silence. When you focus on doing the work rather than talking about it, you build a rhythm. Each small step reinforces the next, and before long, you've made significant progress. But when you start announcing your plans prematurely, you disrupt that rhythm. You shift focus from action to explanation, from doing to justifying. Every moment spent explaining yourself is a moment lost in moving forward. It's like driving a car while constantly stopping to show people where you're going. You lose speed, and worse, the sense of purpose that comes from steady motion. Let me share a story that illustrates the power of momentum and discretion. A friend of mine decided to write a book, a lifelong dream. Instead of announcing it, he quietly committed to writing 500 words a day until the book was finished. He told no one, not even his closest friends. Day after day, he worked in silence. Months later, he shared the result with a small circle of trusted people. Their reaction? Pure admiration. They were amazed not only because the book was good, but because he had done it without seeking attention or validation. When the book was published, it succeeded, not due to grand announcements, but because the work spoke for itself. Now consider another friend, equally passionate about writing, but who spent months talking about his plans. He called with updates, shared outlines, and asked for opinions on every detail. The more he talked, the less he wrote, and eventually the project fizzled out. Why? Because he spent all his energy seeking approval instead of building momentum. There's a powerful lesson here. Action breeds confidence, while too much talking breeds hesitation. When you take consistent action, even small doses, you prove you're capable. You build a track record and a sense of accomplishment that fuels progress. But when you talk too much, you remain stuck in the realm of possibilities, what could be, what might be, without ever crossing into reality. Some worry that keeping plans private makes them seem secretive or aloof, but discretion isn't shutting people out. It's preserving focus. It means recognizing your dreams are precious, and not everyone deserves a front row seat to your journey. Think of it this way. When planting a garden, you don't invite the whole neighborhood to walk through the soil before the seeds sprout. You protect the ground, water carefully, and wait for the first shoots to appear. Only then do you invite others to admire the fruits of your labor. The same applies to your goals. Keeping them private isn't secretive, it's strategic. You give yourself space to grow, learn, and adapt without the pressure of outside expectations. And when the time comes to share your success, it will be all the more powerful because it's backed by real results. Here's a challenge. Next time you set a goal, resist announcing it to the world. Instead, channel that energy into action. Write it down, make a plan, and take the first step quietly, deliberately, and with full focus. Remember, the goal isn't to impress others with your intentions, it's to impress yourself with your accomplishments. There's something profoundly freeing about moving in silence. It releases you from external pressures and lets you operate on your own terms. When you announce your plans publicly, you put yourself under a spotlight. Suddenly, people watch, wait, and maybe even judge. That pressure can be stifling, especially early on when things are uncertain and fluid. Success is rarely a straight line. It's a journey of trial and error, 2 steps forward and 1 back. Under the public eye, setbacks feel magnified. Every misstep every delay invites criticism. Every pause attracts scrutiny. Yet when you keep your plans confidential, you grant yourself the freedom to fail silently and to learn from errors without the weight of external judgment. That's why discretion isn't merely a tactic. It's a gift you offer yourself. It creates a protected space where you can experiment, evolve, and refine your ideas free from distractions. Here's the remarkable part. When you stop seeking approval or validation, you deepen your connection to your instincts. You begin to trust yourself more profoundly, relying on your own discernment rather than the views of others. You might wonder, isn't feedback crucial? Don't I need others' input to improve my ideas? The answer is yes. Feedback is invaluable, but it must come at the right moment and from the right sources. Not everyone is qualified to provide constructive guidance, and not every phase of your journey suits soliciting it. Early on, when your vision is still forming, it's wiser to concentrate on the work itself. Once progress is tangible, then invite feedback from trusted, respected individuals. I once knew a man gifted at spotting opportunities. He saw potential where others found obstacles, but he had a fatal flaw. He talked incessantly about his ideas. Whenever a new concept emerged, he'd rush to share it with anyone who'd listen. More often than not, someone else acted on his idea before he could. By revealing his plans prematurely, he lost his edge. In contrast, I knew another businessman, quiet and unassuming, who rarely spoke about his projects. He wasn't flashy or boastful, but excelled at execution. While others were busy talking, he was busy building. When he revealed his work, it was always impressive, well thought out, polished, and ready for the world. He didn't need to announce his intentions because his results spoke louder than any words could. This brings us to a vital truth. Results are your greatest advertisement. When you achieve something meaningful, people will notice without you uttering a single word. Your success naturally draws attention, and that attention is far more powerful than any premature announcements. Think of it as a ripple effect. Your actions create waves, reaching far beyond words' reach. There's another often overlooked reason to keep your plans private: the power of focus. Sharing your plans doesn't just expend energy, it invites distractions. People will question, suggest, and share their own ideas, pulling you in many directions. Before long, you lose sight of your original goal. Your once clear vision becomes clouded. Focus is among your most precious resources. It channels your energy toward one target, cuts through the noise, and drives genuine progress. The best way to guard your focus? Limit the number of people who know your plans. The fewer voices in your ear, the easier it is to stay aligned with your goals. Imagine applying this principle to your life, starting a project, business, creative pursuit, or personal goal, and telling no one. Working quietly, steadily, without chasing approval or validation. What might you accomplish in such silence? This is the essence of today's message, the freedom to work on your own terms, the power to let actions speak louder than words, and the wisdom to protect your dreams until they're ready for the world. It's not about secrecy or aloofness. It's about intentionality. Understanding your energy, focus, and momentum are too valuable for idle chatter. When the moment comes to reveal your work, when the results shine, you'll find your success carries weight that words alone cannot match. You'll savor the knowledge that you didn't merely talk about your dreams, you made them real. So keeping your plans private isn't about hiding, it's about valuing your energy and focus. It's about nurturing fragile beginnings in silence until they're strong enough to stand independently. It's recognizing that action outweighs words, and results speak louder than any announcement ever could. By choosing privacy, you're making a statement, not to the world, but to yourself. I trust my ability to follow through. I don't need applause to start, nor permission to pursue my goals. This rare, powerful confidence grants freedom to act fearlessly, to learn without judgment, and to grow at your own pace. Here's the best part. When you succeed, you inspire others, not by promises made, but by achievements earned. Your actions become a beacon, reminding others that real progress comes from focus, discipline, and quiet resolve. You show it's not how loudly you proclaim intentions, but how steadfastly you pursue them. As you move forward, I challenge you to embrace this philosophy. The next time you set a goal, resist announcing it. Instead, write it down. Devise a plan and begin work. Let your deeds speak and your results prove your worth. Trust that when the time is right, the world will notice. And when they do, it will be because you earned it. Remember, success doesn't shout. It doesn't need a spotlight or stage. It grows steadily, quietly, in unseen moments. So guard your dreams, nurture your focus, and let your actions tell the story. That is the path to true success, and it's a path worth walking.